Yo, so I just got back from seeing not only Superman, but Fantastic Four. And your boy got a lot of things to say. And I'm gonna be honest, a lot of those things are positive, all right? For once in our lives, within the past, it feels like a century. I think we're back, ladies and gents. I think we're back. So, just to start it off, it's insane that we've got two staples in comic book history coming out back to back. Marvel and DC came in with their guns up. I'm gonna say literally one of them has got the boy Gunn himself on their side, right? Came up with their guns out. Superman, arguably the most iconic superhero, most well-known superhero there is outside of Spider-Man. And the Fantastic Four, the most iconic family within comics, right? And I'm gonna be honest, I was pleasantly surprised with both. Just to start off with a few things that both are doing well. They both know the tone that they're aiming for, and they don't pull back on it, you know? Superman is going for a more lighthearted, almost early 2000s feel, while Fantastic Four is aiming for something a little more grounded. And neither one is doing this just for views, I would say. They both feel like these were the stories that they were meant to tell. And I have to say, they both do a great job at it. And I'm gonna be honest, I did not really care for Thunderbolts, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like if you watched enough movies, it was all right. I feel like it got a lot of hype because a lot of people weren't expecting much from it. However, it's fine. It was a fine movie. It was Baby's first, depression movie. So I feel like a lot of people who haven't, seen something in those regards are going to enjoy it. But if you have, it's not doing a lot. However, these two movies they're both actually trying, and I really like that. I really like that both don't have the Marvel joke beats that present, at least. And when there's jokes, they land for the most part in both films. I would say Superman's a lot funnier than Fantastic Four, just objectively, because it was trying to be, right? Where Fantastic Four's jokes feel more in tone with the characters that they're portraying for us, right? Fantastic Four, I feel like, is a more character-driven story. It's really about the family and spoilers, figuring out how to start a new version of that family while the world is going crazy. And that leans to a more, serious tone. While Superman is about Superman dealing with the biggest hater on this earth and how he has to do that while there's important things happening in the world. And he's not really allowed to engage with them the way he wants to. And I think both of these, respectively, came out at the right time. Superman is what we need in the world right now. If you don't see the allegory, you don't want to see it. If you don't see it, you don't want to see it. If you don't understand why it's there, you don't like Superman. Objectively. For the Fantastic Four, Marvel needed a W. That wasn't like a soft one. They needed a hard W, right? Because they're about to put a lot of money into Secret Wars or whatever the hell they're doing. And they got that W. I'm not gonna lie. Even the CG is extremely consistent. There's only, I want to say, 2 to 3 minutes worth of bad CG in this 2-hour film, right? And it's on something that has never been done well in like most movies, let alone a Marvel project. Direction on both ends, they're killing it, right? Visually, they're both stunning movies. yeah, they're visually gorgeous movies, even if you remove the superhero aspect, right? Fantastic Four is aiming for this 1950s futurism, right? Aesthetic, and they keep it up. I was really afraid that they were just using that for the trailers, but they keep it consistent. And I think that's really what makes this feel just a lot more believable in comparison to other movies. They don't have the great color grading. The world feels like a specific world that the Fantastic Four can exist in. They're not afraid of them having this mid-century modern furniture everywhere, you know? And it plays into this idealized team that has supposedly been just, you know, saving the world for years until now. While Superman, I don't think it's as visually stunning in the regards of like the set or the color grading, right? Or the even some of the choices, like there's a lot of juxtaposed shots, right? In Fantastic Four, where they just use almost found footage or things that will feel very specific to the time, right? There's even them using, what do you call it? Using the old Fantastic Four animated series. They did basically drawovers of that with the new character designs from this movie. And it really makes you believe in this new Fantastic Four, like as if they've been around forever. Where with Superman, James Gunn knows how to hold a camera. And I don't care what anyone says, he does. And if he's not the one holding it, he knows who to hire. That boy Superman looks like he's flying. He looks like he's a man of action without feeling too grounded, without feeling like he's not supposed to be this idealized man, you know? I'm glad that we have a Superman story where they're not trying to make him Jesus Christ. It's not that serious. Superman is not that serious. He's just supposed to be the best guy. Hi, I'm Mr. Nice. And that's what we got. I'm Mr. Nice. Try to be like me. That's what a Superman story is supposed to be. Right? And I, you know, I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I was not a Superman fan. I kind of still not a Superman fan, but I am a fan of Superman in this world. In this version of the DC universe, I understand what he's for. I understand it. It felt like, and I love the fact that this movie isn't afraid to be corny. It's not afraid to be corny. Mr. Terrific literally flies around on a giant spear that has a fucking T on it, right? They go into that. Lex Luthor is literally playing fucking esports to beat Superman's ass. Go see the movie if you don't understand what I'm saying. And I think that I really like the fact that they both understood the key aspects of what make both of these characters interesting. Superman, if you want to tell a Superman story, it's not about his grasp on his morality. That's not it. It's him learning how to do what his good intentions are in a world that doesn't want him to do it. In a world that doesn't follow the same rules. That at any moment could take the people around him away if he slips up. He is never in danger physically, but mentally he always is. And then on Fantastic Four's end, right? We had a story, and it's insane to me, guys. I genuinely think you should go see it. The fact that we have a Fantastic Four film where they feel like a real just family, a group of homies, that's impressive. I'm not gonna lie. Because we've had flop after flop after flop. And even if you enjoy those movies, you can objectively say they're not the best. They're not the best. Not only have we had flop after flop in the Marvel sphere, and I'm gonna be honest, Marvel movies are never like bad. They're just fine. But there's been some bad Fantastic Four movies, and this was great. I loved seeing them almost use Sue as like the leader, right? She's the one who makes the hard, or not even, yeah, she's the one who everyone's like, damn, Sue, I don't know if I can do this. And she's the one who mentally gets them in that space. While Mr. Fantastic is a genius, but mentally, socially, he's kind of inept. And he has to fight that instinct of doing crazy shit, even though it's mathematically the best decision. Because he loves Sue, because he loves the thing, because he loves Johnny, right? And I think when you compare these movies to Fantastic Four 2005 or the 2015 version, there's no contest, bro. There's not one scene where fucking Sue has to take off her clothes to go invisible. That's all, like, come on. Pedro's killing it. Everyone's killing it. The thing, like, bro, I forgot he was CG for halfway through the movie. And I just like knowing that both of these movies weren't really depending on other movies. They literally start you in the middle of the world in both of these movies. Superman has a role, like a Star Wars roll crawl, where it tells you, oh yeah, there's shit going on in the world, and Superman went to stop it and got his ass whooped, right? And then in Fantastic Four, we literally get a montage of them just kicking ass like the Incredibles, and then we're thrown into the story like years later, literally 4 years, maybe 5 years into them as heroes. And it has me wonder how much they're gonna have to retweak their plans moving forward. You know, Marvel loves to do that, knowing how well this movie did and why it did well. It's not just because it's Fantastic Four. You know, in the other movies, you could just say, well, it's Marvel, well, it's Captain America, where's Iron Man? Of course people are gonna go. But these movies have a historically bad record. So people are going to have to, I don't know, do word of mouth to get people to actually go see them, right? And as for the DC universe, what an amazing start. What an amazing, restart. Allowing a director to just be like, yo, let me cook. And they're saying they're gonna continue doing that. And I'm okay with not every movie needing to fucking be stitched together, right? It's fine if a few of them have little Easter eggs to one another, and then maybe we get like 3 or 4 that are cohesive. And then we pause, and then we go deal with the shit later again, right? Because that's what comics do. They have moments where they all, collect, where they all make sense, but not the whole time. And I hope, after seeing that end credit for a Fantastic Four, that everyone's expectations get a little flipped. Because I know everybody in the crowd is like, it's Robert! But I don't think it's Robert. I don't think it's Downey. Downey's a little too expensive, guys. Let's think with our domes here. He's an Oscar winner now. All right? I think. Yeah, he's an Oscar winner now. He was already the most expensive actor for like 7 years straight. Hence why they killed his ass. They're not gonna have him in more than maybe 2 movies. Also, that would just be a waste of a certain someone. So, if you haven't gone seen these movies, I encourage you to, just for the love of these characters and the love of movies that, I don't know, were made to be a movie first and not a universal ride, and not tick off of a list to some degree. Because at the end of the day, we can only expect so much from these things that are just IPs, right? But the one thing we can expect is them to listen to what we say when we don't pay. So go pay for this and don't pay for something that's not on this bar. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Hopefully you enjoyed. Go check out my other reviews. I got one on Sonic 3. I got one on Captain America. Cause some of y'all didn't go see that movie. but went and saw the new Avengers or whatever the fuck they're calling it. And bye.